So this is a demo that I recorded with a friend of mine who was in the process of migrating from Lightroom to Capture One. And he needed some assistance in understanding how the Capture One catalog and file import system worked. He also wanted to make sure that the images that he had previously edited in Lightroom weren't touched by Capture One. So this is just a little bit of a demonstration in how to get from A to B.
All right. So because you already have Lightroom, ooh, what'd I do? Oh, because you already have Lightroom, you want to start a new folder for Capture One, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So what I would do is, let me just, so imagine that my desktop here is any folder that you have, any root folder, right? Like could be 2018. So I'm going to call this 2018 C1. Okay. And then
I'm seeing Capture One, not the desktop. Oh no, there it is to the far right. Got it.
yeah, there you go.
Okay.
So in here, let's say you have images that already exist in another, in another folder that you're using for Lightroom, and you wanna play with those, right? So
Yes.
what I would do is, let's do a new Finder window. So I would do, and this is what I do for my personal stuff. So let's say I take this job and I want to play with it in Capture One, but it's already been edited in Lightroom, so I don't want to mess with it, right? So I'm going to copy it. I did Command C, and I'm going to put it over here, and I'm going to do a Command B. So now that job is going to copy into this folder. Okay, so I'm duplicating the files because I don't want Lightroom and Capture One looking at exactly the same file in case one messes the other one up. Okay? So once that gets copied in there, so there we go. It's almost done. Okay. So now you can see there's all these subfolders. Inside these subfolders are more subfolders, and there's raw files. All right. So that can be in any way that you've organized your folder.
Right.
It could just simply be one folder that says, baseball game, whatever, and you just want to play with those. So now what you want to do is you want to take these and you can drag and drop them directly into Capture One, or I do it right onto the icon. Opens up the import dialog box. Okay, include subfolder. So everything that's in there that Capture One can read, it'll import. So I say import all. You can see it down here, lower right-hand corner. It's
right.
all of those.
Very quick.
Now it will draw. It'll render your one-to-one previews over time, so it takes a little bit longer for that. So now, if I go to my users desktop, you'll see there it is. It's in here. Okay, and there's the folder system that matches what's in there. So if I go in here, this black and white has 7 images. This one has 7 images. So whatever's in there is in there. Now, unlike Lightroom, okay, in Lightroom, let me see, do I have, there we go. So in Lightroom, if I was to add, we'll just come in here real quick, and I'll just grab, let's grab a couple of these. I'm going to copy them. I'm just going to paste them in here. Actually, let's do this. Let's do this. Call that Raul. And I will move those into Raul. Okay. So let's say you added more. You went and shot some more images. You want to play with more images, and I put those in there. In Capture One, I'm sorry, in Lightroom, you were able to go to the root of that folder, which would be 2018, and right-click and say synchronize.
Right.
Okay. And it would find everything that existed in that subfolder. But Capture One doesn't do that. Capture One only synchronizes folders you physically imported. Okay? So what I would have to do is I would have to do that again. I would have to grab Raul, and I would have to drop it in there. Now this may be obvious to some people because they already do it that way, but Lightroom had the ability to just synchronize the entire folder.
So by moving the folder in the hierarchy of wherever it's at, dump it into Capture One, and it knows where to find it
Correct.
automatically. Okay,
Correct. Yeah.
that makes sense. Okay,
Yep. Yep.
I didn't know
And
if you
so,
can, if you had to do it from the root again, or now if you had dropped it, just as an example, if you had dropped it, you moved it under there, so you have two folders, and you took C1 now and dropped the whole thing again, is it going to say, hey, you've already got these photos here, and only bring in the new ones?
you mean like this right here? So if
Yeah,
I were to put, so, okay, so let's try that.
like right now
So,
you have both sets already established, I think.
right, so let me grab that folder right there. Okay, and put it in there. So you're saying, what if I just took this whole folder and tried to import it again?
Right.
Exclude duplicates. But the problem with this is that if your root folder you're talking about has 10,000 folders in it, files in it, it's going to have to go through and eliminate 10,000 files, right? So it doesn't make any sense. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to do that. Essentially, ideally, it could do that.
And you just do, I see with the eliminating the duplicates and whatnot. So that makes sense. Otherwise, you just bring the folders in, do one folder at a time. As long as you've dumped it in there, it knows where the hierarchy is, and
Yep.
then you just go and play.
Right. Now,
That's
one thing you can do is right here on 2018, if I right click and say add folder, it's going to take me into the 2018, and this one we haven't added yet. So all I have to do is select it and hit add, and it's going to automatically add it without going through the whole import dialog box. So now it's everything is, ooh, why didn't it show the images in there? Oh, you know what? Because I didn't import files. There we go. I only added the folder, not the file, so you'd have to synchronize it. So that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, just drag in each one that you want to work with.
got it. Okay, that makes sense. So I can do that.
Yeah.